What actually 100% lived up to the hype? Neighbors chili. Moved in and everybody wouldn't shut up about this guy's chili. To the point it was annoying to hear about. The first cold day that fall I had it. Holy shit, now I won't shut up about it. Edit, wow this really blew up. The guy doesn't share his recipe and I'm not sure really why. He's good about deflecting requests. He always says something funny like a little of this, a little of that. Some frog nuts and cheap champagne. There was a story on Reddit a long time ago where someone was praised for their cooking by their friends all the time. Their secret? Glutamate. Having your own place to live without roommates. Bruh, I so cannot wait for this. Loud and messy roommates or housemates are annoying. Seeing the Milky Way for the first time. Blew my mind what many don't see because of city lights. Edit, thank you for the medal. As a country kid, it blew my mind to realize that many city folk have never properly seen a starry night. I live way up in Red Rock north of Reno. And it's surprising how many people haven't fully seen the Milky Way. Or see Mars and Jupiter clearly. Divorcing a terrible person. The sense of relief, freedom and having my old self back again cannot be expressed in words. I would marry her all over again and divorce her just to experience that feeling again. Edit. Thanks for my first ever gold. Not sure what it does. But cool. And now platinum? Thanks. This post needs to be at the top for this sentence alone. Both Hubble and Kepler space telescopes. Deep field images showing thousands of galaxies in just a tiny patch of sky and the discovery of thousands of exoplanets that are so different from planets in our own solar system. What better could astronomers hope to find up there? The JWST in particular is something else. It has greatly outlived its expected service time and brings us amazing pictures to this day. I hope the JWST can be that great if it ever gets up there. First time I loaded up Google Earth on a tablet I knew I had officially reached living in the future status. Try loading it up in VR. It's this. But on steroids. Growing up in the big city. Or what we'd consider to be one out here. I had never had an interest in nature or outside. One day after school my parents arrived as usual. What was unusual was the fully packed car. Understanding hits me like a truck. Camping. Oh no, not a plushy electric camping experience, my father confirms. We're going to Botswana. The true great outdoors. I sulk of course. All the way there. We get to, well, wherever we were. Set up camp and I jump straight in my tent to continue my pity party. Some hours later and my parents still haven't lit a fire. I can hear their voices faintly. Upset. But more because of their disregard for my tantrum. I emerge from the tent and all thoughts of my remarks disappear. The sight that greets me is, for lack of a better word, awesome. Stars. More than I thought possible. They covered every inch of my vision from one horizon to the other behind me. Between the blanket of stars. Nebulae of every color are visible. My father laughs at my expression as I desperately crane my neck to see it all. Lem tell you folks. Perfectly dark night sky 100% lives up to the hype. I remember having this experience at a school camp. I was hoping my daughter would get the same experience. But the camps now seem to go to other cities. Which is sad. And also concerning as it means I might have to take her camping. Therapy. Yeah, that's sappy as hell. But it made me feel a lot better. Still working on myself. But my psychologist is a saint and she does all she can to help. I love this. I finally started seeing a therapist after being in denial of my depression for over a year, and the right one makes all the difference. Therapy is something everyone should try, I think. You never know what good can come out of it. Into the Spider-Verse. As a 37-year-old comic fan, it made me happy to live in this version of reality. Dungeons and Dragons. I lived with a friend at university who, back in the days of 3.5e, would suggest every weekend that we played a game. I had no interest in spending my Saturday afternoons pretending to be an elf or whatever the duck you were supposed to do when you played. No. Thank you. Then I actually tried it a year or two ago. And it's dope. Sit around with friends. Talk some shit. Eat some cheese. Drink some beers. Kill some imaginary goblins. With 3 months I was deeming. And now I have more dice than I know what to do with and a folder on my desktop devoted to all the games I know I'm never going to get around to playing. All because adult scheduling is the true BBEG. Yeah, I really want to get into it, but I don't know anyone else who plays and it looks so fun. Being healthy. It feels so good to feel good. I thought I would hate cutting out soda and junk food because they taste so good and made me happy. But I was so heavy. Knee pain. Couldn't sleep. Miserable most of the time. Now it's normal to just feel good. It's actually crazy to think I lived like that for so long. It's worth it to put the effort into your health. Who cares if it takes a long time? You'll thank yourself. The thing about those kinds of foods, the more often you eat them, the more meh they become. Visiting Japan. Used to be kind of a weeb when I was a teen, but that phase died out when I grew into my 20s. Miso and I planned a trip to see my brother and his Japanese GF just to stay in touch, even though I would have rather loved to see Florence or Marrakesh instead, but boy oh boy was I wrong. Japan really brought the kid inside me out again. Edit. Even though I couldn't care less about anime. Personally. Sex. Teenager me would be both surprised and disappointed at current me for not having a lot more sex with my girlfriend. Back then it was inconceivable that one would not have sex all the time. It was possible. But I'm old and tired now. Antibiotics. Thanks Sir Alexander Fleming, Mr. Selman Abraham Waxman. Hello Pierre. The numerous men of bacterial culture. And of course Sir Louis Pasteur. The Instant Pot, at least for me. I use that thing all the time. Totally worth every cent, and I turned my family onto the Instant Pot as well. Love my Instant Pot too. I got one sent from the UK to the USA so it could be shipped to me in Australia by my family. I hadn't tried one yet, but it 100% lived up to my expectations and exceeded them entirely. Flash forward a year, fires all around our area. I decide to pack the car with suitcase and anything I wouldn't want to lose be without. Photos. Passport. Birth cert. Instant Pot. Putting in a frozen lump of meat without defrosting and 45 minutes later coming back to perfect slow cooked like meal is revolutionary. Then to keep it at perfect temp until you're ready to eat it, then the whole thing can be put in the dishwasher once done. Raving. Sonic redesign. The Sonic redesign is so hot. Bday. First time I ever used one was in Korea. I was always opposed to the idea but kept remembering people on Reddit raving about them. So I looked to my left and started pushing buttons on the wall. Was immediately startled but then surprised that the water was actually warm from the get-go instead of coming out ice cold first. I began firing the water beam at my asshole like a CNC machine making something. Spray the left butthole lip. Spray the right butthole lip. Directly in the center. Etc. Once I was done shooting drinkable water into my anus, I studied a picture of what looked like bacon coming out of somebody's ass. I assumed this meant hot air. It indeed was. Hot air. I probably sat there for 5 minutes blow drying my booty hole and the back of my gonads. Once I got up, my entire ass crack felt clean and rejuvenated. I felt like a new man. I felt like royalty amongst peasants. I spent the remainder of my trip in Korea mad that some bathrooms didn't have one. 10/10. Will do again. Edit. My first ever comment that goes above 1k upvotes is about using water that could hydrate starving kids to wash my asshole with instead. I love all 1k plus of you people. Plus the person that gave me silver for this. I want to take the time to thank my mother, Jesus, and to all of those that believed in me when others didn't. Additionally, by referring to left and right butthole lips, I'm referring to the left and right side of my asshole. There's also the upper and lower portion of my asshole lips. The combined 4 sections create a complete ring of puckered nail entrance exit depending on your fancy. I don't discriminate. Flex tape. Flex seal. Flex glue. Etc. Edit. Gorilla Products 2. Thanks for the upvotes and comments too. Weird flex. But okay. So far. The Mandalorian. Yes. The Mandalorian is so good. I didn't know what to expect. But so far it has exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect that ending to the first episode. So I'm intrigued of where they're going with it. The Nintendo Switch. I hadn't bought a Nintendo system since the GameCube. I wasn't thrilled about the Wii or the Wii U. So I was hesitant to buy into Nintendo's new system when it was announced. I bought it and was 100% back as a Nintendo fanboy. That system is fantastic. The fact that it is both portable and a home console is amazing to me. And yes, it isn't powered compared to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But it makes up for it in its versatility. Also, I can turn it off instantly and come back to exactly where I left off. Brilliant. Came here to say this. I debated buying it, but I'm such a Zelda fan that I had to. Even then, I swore that I'd never play it handheld. It's not a Game Boy and I don't need to play it away from the TV. Said I'd never leave the house with it. Wrong. So wrong. We have so many games now and we spend just about every game night with friends convincing them to try Mario Party with us, and we have a 100% success rate so far. 3 different couples bought one after trying ours. How Nintendo needs to be cutting me a commission check at this point. Also, Bot was even better than expected. My wife's deviled eggs. She talked these things up for months when we first started dating. Her mom talked about them. Her dad. Her sister. Everyone in her family loves them. Then I ate one. It was life-changing. I can totally relate. When I met my ex, he wouldn't shut up about making the best scrambled eggs. And I was skeptical because I thought there is nothing special about scrambled eggs. When he finally made them for me, they were the best eggs I've had my whole life. Duck you. You cheating lying brick. But you do make the best scrambled eggs. The Breaking Bad series finale. Literally the only series finale I've ever heard of that's widely regarded as good. My very first trip to Manhattan. My sister and I booked a 10-day stay at the Roosevelt in Midtown. We land at LaGuardia from Dallas and the airport employees were super friendly when they saw me in my UT Dallas hoodie. I even got a hug. Like, what? So we go out of the terminal and the car service to Manhattan calls us to let us know they overbooked and ran out of sedans and stuff, so they sent a stretch limo to pick us up. The trip was full of lucky turns. We got very last minute front and center seats to the Radio City Rockettes for $60 each. The city just lived up to every expectation I had since childhood. I love it. Did you drive through Times Square and stick your head up through the sunroof? By law, you are required to do so.